Alright, so typically a normal trailer will have 7 wires in the wire itself, but for basic trailers, they're in reality only gonna have 3. They're gonna have the ground, the left, and the right. These guys are all going to come together to the plug. So we're going to draw a little bit of a plug right here. Make it all mix back up because, well, why not? Anyway, so then it's going to follow the line, and usually there's going to be an orange light here, red light here, red light here. Each one of these is going to have a ground on it. So, how do we wire this? Because one is positive, the other is negative. Negative is really simple. It gets bolted into the trailer. Just bolted in, essentially. That's all that happens. But for this guy, we're gonna break them back into those 3 wires again. In reality, the left and right, we don't need the left and right. We need Mr. Brown, and typically brown is the all wire. But so what's gonna happen is we're gonna make a cut in this brown wire and solder another little wire into it, giving this light power. Yay! And then we're gonna solder another wire that goes over here and it gets all wired up, and then we have supplied power to these lights to the ground, because when it's hooked up to your vehicle, the vehicle is going to be supplying the trailer power, but it's not going to be getting any of it unless it has a ground. Hence why you need a ground. Typically, I know I'm going back on my statement, but there's usually actually a 4th wire, and it's usually the white wire, but it can vary to different colors depending on how your trailer was wired. So this goes in, this gets grounded into the trailer. So now we have a working ground. These lights all work. Then it runs lower and lower, starts turning here. And this is one of the more important parts, because this is where we get introduced to your tail lights. Tail lights usually have 3 wires that go with them. One is going to be the ground, so we're going to call this guy the ground, and that's going to be the white wire. Then we have Mr. Red, and Mr. Red, aka the red wire, is going to play the role as the actual blinkers. So that's going to go into green. Well, it's more likely to be yellow. And this guy over here, he's just going to go into yellow, well, green. This guy goes into brown. And like I said earlier, brown is going to be your all. Even right here, we're going to make a cut. It's going to go into brown. It's going to go into brown. And as long as everything's hooked up correctly and the grounds are good, that means you will now be having light coming out of these, light coming out of these, and then you have properly wired the trailer. That simple, that complicated. When it comes to the plug though, plug is where things can get tricky. So the plug usually has 7 pins. And the one in the center. The one in the center is usually going to be the reverse light. So we're just going to give it an R for reverse. Then we're going to have the ground. The ground is going to be this guy. So we're going to give it a negative. Up here is going to be a big old plus, because that's the positive current. No, it's more about voltage. Anyway, and this guy is going to be on. So that's all these lights right here, counting these two back here, but not as entirely. They're on, but they're not on to their fullest capabilities because of the fact the red wire controls the blinker on them. So then you got these guys, and it's as you'd think. This guy is the left light. This guy over here is the right light. This guy down here is usually, we're going to put a B for brakes, but that's typically how it goes. And your trailers may vary here and there, but at the end of the day, that's how most basic trailers should look.